All right, welcome back to another one of our film reviews. Today we are talking Seattle Seahawks rookie edge defender Connor O'Toole. O'Toole's an undrafted free agent who looks more and more like a big-time steal for the Seattle Seahawks. He had a great first preseason game. Wanted to see how he did in the second, and folks, he did not disappoint. He is a good player against the pass, against the run. He's a very versatile athlete. Great find by the Seattle Seahawks, and we'll break down everything he did so well. As always, in the comment section below, give us any feedback you might have, plus any other players you want us to break down. But without further ado, let's jump right into the film. All right, let's start with the run defense, and there's O'Toole right there on the left side of your screen. So this is what I call a check-the-box kind of play. So what the Kansas City Chiefs are going to do, they're going to run a wide zone concept, right? Tackle working out, zone double team here, working up, center working this direction on the zone double team. We're going to get backside scoops just like this, working up to the next level. Running back taking a wide zone path. Quarterback kind of like acting it's going to be a zone read, although I think it's a design give to the running back the entire time. This is a situation here where O'Toole over here, he's going to be unblocked. Now, he's got to respect the zone read. He's got to have eyes on the quarterback. But once he knows it's a run this direction, he then has to pursue the line of scrimmage, down the line of scrimmage, just like that. If you're unblocked in this situation as an edge defender, you've got to make the tackle. Like I said, it's a check-the-box kind of play. You can't play in the National Football League if you're unblocked as an edge defender and you go down and don't make the tackle. O'Toole does. He checks the box. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see everyone up front for the Kansas City Chiefs working to the right. Number 60 is a little slow out of his stance there. That's kind of funny. Hey, it's a preseason. Like I always say, it's pretty chaotic out there, guys. But you look at O'Toole here on the left side of your screen. Again, he's respecting the zone read right there, looking at 19. The moment he recognizes it's a give, close down, make the tackle, emphatic tackle to boot. Love the pursuit, love the motor, love the physicality. Again, checking the box. If you want to play edge in the National Football League, this is what you have to do. You have to respect the QB run and then close down and make the tackle. If you cannot do this, you cannot play. Good news for O'Toole is he can do it and did do it. I think he has a bright future in this defense. I know it's a long way to still make the roster, but his versatility, his playmaking, run defense, smart, savvy plays, he even does some things in coverage as well, which we'll get to over the course of this film review. But I tell you what, Seattle fans, we talked about Jared Ivey before being a potential steal. I think you got another one here in Connor O'Toole.
Yeah, Nick, can we talk about O'Toole? We already talked about him earlier this year, so go check out that video if you're interested. But this guy, athleticism is what reigns supreme, and you can see evidence in this play. But looking at his RAS score, one of the highest rated RAS guys in all of the draft this past year, 9.49 RAS score, and that's out of 10. So basically 9.5 out of 10. This guy's almost as high as you can get when you talk about athleticism. Very impressive stuff early on from Connor O'Toole.
All right, sticking with the run defense, there's O'Toole this time on the right side of your screen. You can see the Chiefs are at the 4-yard line. There's the end zone right there. They're trying to power the football in to score. They're going to run a power concept. They're going to bring this H-back in motion over here. We're going to get a double team right here, working up to the backside linebacker, center blocking back, guard pulling just like this, tight end blocking down on O'Toole. You're going to have this H-back right here, work up to the next level, running back taking a counter step and trying to hit the hole just like this. This is a situation where it's all about team defense, and here O'Toole does a great job. He not only beats this tight end inside this gap right here, he also picks up another blocker. So he takes up two Chiefs blockers right here, creates a big pile, helps the Seattle Seahawks defense stop the run. Let's check it out. There's the motion. You can see O'Toole inside right there. Watch him beat this tight end clearly. Look at that quick swim move. Man, you talk about that RAS score and the athleticism. Boink, right there. Nicely done. But see how he immediately gets on the guard too right there? Thud right there, takes on two blockers. We talk about big run stuffers inside. We say, listen, you need to take up two blockers. You need your edge defenders and goal line short yardage to do exactly the same, and that's what O'Toole does here. He takes on the tight end, beats him, and then takes on the guard and doesn't give up a lot of ground, guys. I think this is pretty good. Again, he doesn't get blown out of the way. He doesn't get pancaked or anything right out the rip. He creates a massive humanity, a big wall. This running back right here, he's trying to follow the guard. This running back sees 57. He bounces it right into the help, the Seahawks linebackers. Short gain, no touchdown. This is team run defense, guys. It's not always going to be pretty. In fact, a lot of times it's going to be ugly. And we've seen an athlete like O'Toole. Sometimes you wonder, hey, how will he do in these physical, nasty situations? Like, he likes to play in space. He's such a good athlete. I tell you what, folks, he's a nasty run defender, winning right here at the point of attack. From the wide copy, you can see O'Toole right here. He's going to beat the tight end cleanly with this move. Nicely done. Then gets on the guard, frees up his linebacker to make the tackle. Again, team defense. These guys up front and run defense, it's all about freeing up these guys to make the play. This guard right here, he's pulling for that linebacker. That's who he wants to hit, and that's who makes the tackle, right? But you notice O'Toole, he does his job. Beats the tight end. That's enough right there. That would be considered a win. But the fact that he also immediately engages this guard and doesn't give up any ground completely frees up his linebacker. Sometimes what happens, and it's just the way things work in short yardage goal line, you can beat this defensive end and beat that tight end. But if you get blown out of the hole here and you kind of run your butt into the linebacker, it's basically as good as blocking that linebacker from an offensive perspective. That's why it's so good that O'Toole gives up no ground, stones his guard at the point of attack, allows his teammate to make the play. All right, how about some pass rush? And there's O'Toole right there on the left side of your screen. So it's going to be a one-on-one opportunity. Left tackle right here with the Kansas City Chiefs, one-on-one and O'Toole. And this is some pretty good left tackle. It's a young left tackle, but he played good college football. And O'Toole's just going to beat him with straight, raw athleticism. He does a quick speed move around the edge, gets totally held, doesn't draw the penalty, but it's a really good rep from O'Toole. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see one-on-one. Ends up being a pretty quick throw from the quarterback. Hits a check down. Let's look at this left tackle right here. He's a good player, right? You look at O'Toole, though, he's a better athlete. Beats him with a quick speed move around the edge, gets totally held. My goodness gracious. One of the things I'm concerned this preseason, guys, and this really doesn't have to do with Seattle necessarily, it has been poorly officiated to the extreme. And I know it's hard, preseason for the refs too, a lot of preseason players, but my goodness gracious, I've seen more terrible holding calls and more flagrantly missed holding calls than I've ever seen in my entire life. And I tell you what, this is an example. I mean, you beat him with straight speed and you get yanked like this and you don't get a call. That is rough for the referees. But good for O'Toole, right? Again, great athlete, great speed. I mean, he didn't do anything special here, right? We'll bring up a speed to power move in a second, which I really love. But here O'Toole just shows off his athleticism, beats a really good college left tackle. I tell you what, should have drawn the penalty, but still a nice rep right there for 57.
Yeah, and again, talk about O'Toole's pass rush. I think we're seeing something special start here talking about NFL. We look at his college career last season, average about 2.5 pressures per game, which is a solid number. Nothing too special, though. But we see in his first 2 games here for preseason, 7 total pressures for O'Toole and what somewhat limited snap count here. I think he's done a very good job early on, especially last week versus Las Vegas. That 90.5 pass rush grade looking really good in the pass rush game.
All right, sticking with the pass rush, there's O'Toole right there on the right side of your screen. So I mentioned speed to power on the previous play. This is what I'm talking about, folks. So the Chiefs' offensive line, they're going to slide the protection to their left, the right side of your screen. So the center is going to take this gap, left guard is going to take this gap, left tackle is going to take this gap right here. Basically how this works out is the center is going to take over 92, left guard is going to help, and he's going to look to help out his left tackle as need be as a tackle. Basically, it's one-on-one on O'Toole. Now O'Toole over here, again, one-on-one pass rush. This is how he's going to treat it. I love the fact he threatens with some speed initially and then goes power right to the quarterback. I love this kind of move from defensive ends. It's my favorite pass rush move. I think it's virtually unstoppable if you do it correctly, and here O'Toole proves that. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see the center work to his left, the guard helping while looking to his left. Let's look at this left tackle and O'Toole right here. Again, kick slide, kick slide. You see how O'Toole, he's a good athlete. We saw it a second ago. These left tackles, they're worried about that speed rush. Watch O'Toole threaten him with speed and then transition to power. Inside arm strong, pressure on the quarterback. You guys tell me if this is holding or not. I don't think it's as egregious as the previous one, but man, it could have been called. But still, it helps flush the quarterback, right? Listen, O'Toole's an undrafted free agent. He's not going to go in there and get 15 sacks. I mean, if he does, that's awesome. But the reality is he's got some flaws to his game. That's why he went undrafted. But I tell you what, just getting pressure on the quarterback, winning against these tackles in preseason, just like this, forcing the quarterback out of the spot, that's really good stuff. This is really high performance from that expectations. And we saw him beat him outright with speed moves. We saw him against the run, point of the attack and backside. Now we're seeing him win with speed to power. He's got a complete tool belt. He's got a great set of skills. One of the things I love about him, although he's a great athlete, is his strength. Watch how he threatens with speed. Then he takes his left arm, throws it into this offensive tackle's chest right there, and pushes him inside and powers through to get pressure on the quarterback. Again, I think this is borderline holding. I think you could call that too. You talk about a guy in O'Toole who's very quickly become a quality pass rusher. We brought up his PFF grades a second ago for his first 2 preseason performances. But to me, he's not just a one-trick pony, guys. He's got a complete skill set, and he's doing a lot of great things for Seattle. From the wide copy, watch O'Toole here at the top of your screen. Again, he's going to threaten with speed up the field. The left tackle is going to get on his horse right there. Left tackle kicking back inside and then beats him with that inside move. Look at that hump move. That mini Reggie White move right there. Look at that. Not great, not as good as the late, great Reggie White, obviously, because White's phenomenal, first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the best players in NFL history. But same kind of thought, right? You threaten up the field, get the tackle, really kick step aggressively, then take your inside arm, shove it inside. Again, I think he gets held there. I mean, you guys be the judge. What do you think that is right there? You think that's holding? That little yank there? I think it is. I tell you what, refereeing has just been so awful, guys. I hope they fix this for the regular season. I can't do another season with poor officiating. I guess we all will have to deal with that at some point. But anyway, O'Toole here, really nice rep, good speed is power transition, developing into a really good pass rusher. All right, let's talk about O'Toole's versatility. And there he is right on the left side of your screen, almost off the frame there. Here he's going to drop into coverage, guys. We talk about zone blitz going on preseason. We're going to fire the backside linebacker and have O'Toole replace him. So basically how it works in a zone blitz, for anyone who isn't familiar, you fire a linebacker or a defensive back and have a defensive end or defensive tackle replace him in coverage. So you end up with the same amount of rushers, but you're basically trying to confuse the offense, right? So you have these two guys on the backside here. They think they're man-on-man here. These guys right here think they're sliding this direction. You fire a linebacker inside just like that to get pressure on the quarterback. This linebacker covers that zone. O'Toole replaces that linebacker, and it ends up in a takeaway, a sack, or something really good for the defense. But this is a situation of O'Toole specifically shows off an incredible amount of athleticism and versatility, even though it's a win for the offense. That's because number 19 does a really good job. But folks, let's watch Connor O'Toole. We're going to go through this footage right here behind the offense, and then we're going to look at the wide copy. It's going to be very impressive. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. We can see O'Toole dropping a coverage. We can see a linebacker firing. Offensive line does a good job picking it up, right? Credit to them. It's preseason, backups, but doing good work there. Quarterback scrambles, escapes, throws it down the field. You can see O'Toole in coverage, guys. Wow, almost makes the play. That's impressive. It looks even more impressive from the wide copy. Let's follow this all the way to fruition here. So you can see O'Toole at the bottom of your screen. He's going to drop into coverage. You're going to see this linebacker fire, like I said right here, when the snap comes eventually. Right there it is. You can see 42. He's kind of trying to replace the zone, and O'Toole goes over here to replace that linebacker zone, right? So again, like I mentioned, 42 rotates over to help take that spot, and O'Toole drops into coverage to take 42's spot. And he does a good job right there. He takes away that quick curl. Nice work. That's great right there. That's awesome. I tell you what, I could stop the play right here and say, O'Toole, great athlete, smart player. But he sees the quarterback scramble. This is a defensive end, mind you. He runs and mirrors the quarterback. It almost makes the play dropping his own coverage, covering someone else. I mean, this is a great ball here. Almost tips this up. This is one of those plays where if you tip this up, this is a pick. O'Toole's game-changing versatility and athleticism is on display, guys. Now, granted, he doesn't make the play here, but I guarantee you McDonald and the Seahawks coaches, they see this and like, man, if we have a backup undrafted free agent where we can do things like this, where he can do his job well here, but be a smart player, a great athlete to make the play down the field as well, we've got a special player here. And I think they do, right? We talked about O'Toole, like Mize mentioned a second ago. We did a story about him being a really good undrafted free agent early in camp, but he is showing it on tape. This was a great find by the Seahawks front office. All right, going back to some backside run defense, there's O'Toole right there on the right side of your screen. Again, another check the box kind of play. So here what the Chiefs do is they use the tight end width to widen out the backside edge defender as they run zone this direction. Everyone taking their zone tracks right here, standard zone blocking stuff, trying to work up to the next level. A lot of teams, what they like to do instead of blocking the backside edge defender is they widen them out with the tight end. You can see the splits here. You can see the splits here. They're trying to get him so wide, the backside edge, that he can't fire down inside and make the tackle. Again, another check the box kind of play. If you're going to be an edge defender, you need to have the athleticism and speed to make this play. Guess what? 57 does. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see how wide O'Toole is to running the inside zone concept. Look at 57. Go down the line of scrimmage. Looks at the quarterback, sees it's a run, makes the play. That's how you do it, guys. That's how you check the box. Again, this is schematically designed. Every team runs this. They widen you out and say, I don't think you can make the play. And you see this a lot with rookies, right, or young players and edge defenders. Opposing offenses will go really wide with this tight end and say, let's see if he can make the play. Let's test him out a little bit. It's like when there's a young corner enters the game and the team throws him a deep ball. Let's test him. Here, the Chiefs try and test O'Toole. Doesn't work out for him, right? Really nice job. Great athlete. And again, he's not a dumb player. He's not just flying down the line of scrimmage willy-nilly. He first checks up the field for the bootleg right there. He sees it's a run and then goes down. Great speed, great motor, makes a tackle. Every single box you want from an edge defender, he checks. If O'Toole was a second or third round pick, guys, I'd be saying, hey, great find by Seattle. He's doing a lot of good things. Looks like a really good stud. I can see why they drafted him in the second or third round. But for an undrafted free agent to execute like this so early, I know it's preseason and I know it's against backups, but everyone cannot deny how productive and skilled O'Toole has been.
Yeah, Nick, and one thing I really like so far is you brought it up. You see it on this play. Great tackling by O'Toole, 73.0 tackling grade in the preseason so far. And while that'll be great for the regular plays on defense, one that we don't talk about necessarily on these breakdowns is special teams. And that is another place where O'Toole could possibly shine. A lot of special teams experience in college, 493 snaps at special teams throughout his career, almost double the next Seattle Seahawks rookie. So really great job early on for O'Toole. I think the tackling is going to help him all throughout his game, but especially on special teams.
All right, on the previous play, and you can see O'Toole right there on the right side of your screen. They didn't block him. They try to use the width to cut him off, right? Well, this time they've had enough, right? All right, we're going to block you. We're going to cut you. We're going to get you on the ground as we try and run our inside zone concept. Everyone working this way. Again, standard inside zone stuff. And we'll get you cut. We'll get you on the ground, and that's how we'll get you blocked. Guys, it does not matter. O'Toole is such a good athlete, such a playmaker. He fights getting off cut block, getting off the ground, and it helps make the play here. Once again, complete player. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see the zone track everyone up front from the Kansas City Chiefs. Same thing like the play before. This time again, they try and cut them, and they get it done, right? 4 points of contact, 2 feet, 2 hands. That's a winning play. This tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs in the film room, I mean, they'll clean up some technique, but they'll say, hey, man, you did your job. Doesn't matter with O'Toole, though. Such a great athlete, gets off the ground, gets part of the tackle. You talk about motor, you talk about effort. My goodness gracious. He's cut, he fires off, and gets involved with the tackle, playing with a high level of speed. One of the things I love about the preseason is you get undrafted free agent guys because they're playing for their football lives. They're treating it like it's a fourth quarter in the Super Bowl, and I love to see it from guys like Connor O'Toole. But this is why you get guys, you sign guys, you draft guys in some instances that have those high RAS scores that can be great athletes. Because it takes a special kind of athlete to get cut on the ground, to get off the ground, and make the tackle all in about 200 milliseconds. That special level athleticism. We talked about O'Toole. He's productive. He can rush the passer. He can do things in coverage, but his way he can defend the run as well is outstanding. Play side, backside, his effort, motor, every box you can think of an edge defender checking as a rookie, O'Toole does. Incredible find by the Seattle Seahawks.